The member for Wannon.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. And I rise today to call on the government and the banking sector to do everything they can to help our agricultural producers in these difficult times. We have a lot of farms under stress in southwest Victoria, and of course there are a lot of farms under stress in northern Victoria, New South Wales, Queensland and in WA. And the government needs to do everything it can to help these farmers with their current plight. And I would call on the Treasurer and I would call on the Agricultural Minister to get the farm finance package sorted out. Make sure you sit down, negotiate with the states and get it ready to be rolled out come 1 July. This is taking too long. There are people who need assistance now and yet you haven't finalised. Sit down with the states and get this sorted out. I'd call on the Treasurer to talk to the Australian Taxation Office. Make sure that the Tax Office is being consultative, is doing all that it can when it is negotiating with farmers under stress. When people are falling behind with BAS payments and other forms of taxation payments, sit down with them, work through them, have plans put in place to help them through these difficult next 3 to 6 months to 12 months while they get their finances in order so they can continue to produce. I would also call on the banks. The banks have readily lent money in many cases to farmers and now they're facing difficult times, and some of the difficulties they are facing are not due to what they're doing. It's due to the high dollar, it's due to climatic conditions, it's due to all other different types of reasons. And I'd call on the banks to be very sensible and be very reasonable and sit down and work with people to work through these difficult times. It is beholden on them. The best thing for our country and for various regions like the southwest is that the banks work with farmers to make sure that they can continue to produce through these difficult times. These farmers will turn their situations around if the banks and if the government can work with them. And I'd finally call on the government to also take some proactive action to get some support and ongoing help for these farmers, get greater access to markets for them, work hard on getting a free trade agreement with China, with Japan, with South Korea, and also work with them to help reduce their production costs. Get rid of things like the carbon tax, reduce electricity prices for them, put more flexibility in the workplace so that they can employ people to help them and lift their productivity. These are the steps that need to be taken and need to be taken immediately by the government.